This is part 2 of the videos about practicing intervals, or to be more specific, practicing chords. But you could do all of this with any kind of interval. So last time talked about practicing it in a diatonic way related to modes, and today is going to be more about practicing it in a chromatic way. So the first thing you could do is just take your interval and transpose that interval in other intervals. So, okay, we start out with a chord and we just transpose it in minor seconds, like this. We could transpose it in let's see, I've got a cheat paper today, so I know what I'm going to play. Yeah, so let's transpose it in the major seconds, and we'll start with an interval going down. Yeah, that felt a little bit on the edge, but let's just move on. We'll transpose it in a minor third, and now we'll do it in a zigzag up-down way. So it sounds like this. And of course we'll move on to transposing a major second and starting by moving down. And so on. Of course you could do all this with more notes. I mean, now we have groups of 2 notes. You could have groups of 3 notes, 4 notes. So for instance, like that. And don't forget that you could mix different groups to get some more metric stuff. I mean, you could mix 2 and 3 groups doing a 3 and 2. Like that. There's a lot of different ways to do this. So let's try and add some chromatics to our chord intervals. Why do we want to add chromatics? Well, maybe because we like the sound of chromatics. If you don't like it, if you really hate the sound of chromatics, well, don't add chromatics. Just play the chords. You're totally free to do whatever you want to do. So the first thing I'm going to try is just use some guide notes to add chromatics. So I'll be working with the basic pattern is like the chords moving up in minor thirds. So this pattern. And I'll add chromatic guide notes. So for the note I'm aiming for, I'll start one step below, use one step below, one step above chromatically. So if I'm aiming for E flat, I'll be using the E and the D as guide notes right now. So like that. Okay, so the first pattern with guide notes will be like this if we play it slow. Like that. Of course we could do this in all kinds of patterns if I use a basic zigzag pattern transposing up in the major seconds. So a pattern like this. Add guide notes the same way. It would be like, let's see. And in tempo, hopefully. Like that. So you might think that both these lines or patterns, what do you want to call them, doesn't sound so much like fourth lines. It sounds more like a basic chromatic pattern. So let's just add some more fourths to get the sound of playing fourths even more visible. So I'll just do the same thing but using a 3-note pattern. So I have 2 fourth intervals. So basic pattern now is like that, and so on. So same thing, add guide notes. Of course, we could do it going down also, probably. Let's see. With the same theory. Now we ended up in a 5/4 measure or time signature. Of course, you could play exactly the same pattern over a 4/4 signature as long as you keep track of the period, because you're playing like 5 against 4. Or we could change the pattern a little bit so we actually end up with 4/4. So if I just remove the guide notes to each second pattern, that should end up in 4/4. So if I instead do like this, okay, I made some kind of transposition error there. Nobody knows what really happens, but you get the idea. So there's a lot of things you can be doing here. I mean, you could take all kinds of patterns, all kinds of transposing options, and just add chromatics, and we'll probably give you some nice lines and good ideas. A little break here before I lose it completely, get a glass of water, and then I'll be back. So the final step here is another way of adding chromatics. Some of the patterns we get when we just transpose the interval do contain some chromatics. I mean, that's a lot of chromatic, but maybe not the most interesting sound. Also, when you transpose a fourth in a major second, you get some chromatics. Like that. Okay, but what we'll try to do now is we use 2 groups. We have 1 3 group, 1 2 group. Why those groups? Because that makes 5, which gets us some kind of rhythmic displacement. So I'll start out with a 3-note group, which could be, for instance, and from that last note I can move either a minor second up or minor second down. Or, okay, and from that last note I'll play a fourth, again either up or down. So or and then I could continue that pattern. Let's see. From the last note again, I could go either up or down a minor second. Or it could be, let's see if I can do something else. Like that, which got me pretty high. And so on. So, of course, what you're gonna end up with is basically like a 5-note pattern transposing in some kind of interval. But the way you think about it, that you have 2 groups and you try to connect those with minor seconds, and that's really the thing I want to get at. So I could be doing this when improvising, and just thinking, connecting different groups of thought while improvising. I don't really try to remember these patterns. I just play them in order to like move through all kinds of playing chords. So they, some of them might get stuck, some of them might not, but I'll have a lot of options on playing chords. I haven't been talking so much about in any of these videos about how to use this when you improvise. I think that's hard to do on video without being able to actually play with you. But one thing I find pretty useful with, for instance, if you want to start using chords, well, just do it. Play slow, play rubato, and your only framework is, now I'll be playing mostly chords. You can do it in a totally free harmonic. So you just play like and so on. Just have fun, find your ways through the chords. If you want to do it based on a harmonic, I mean based on a chord, well, try have a piano nearby and just play a pedal again and say, okay, I'll be trying to play over the key of concert key F minor. Pedal too far away. Now. I could try to add some more out notes, but still like trying to hear the center of the key, so I always will come back to the D minor or F minor if you are at the piano. And so on. Just using your ears, trying to keep track of that root and the key center. Take small ways away from the key and get back, and so on. Just be creative and have some fun. So that's all for today. Probably gonna see some of you next time. Who knows? Have a nice time. Till then, bye bye.